Hey, Bogdan here. Welcome to another video where we make algebra easy just for you. In this beautiful video, we'll show you how to do factor perfect square trinomials. So let's go right away and jump into recognizing patterns. So perfect square trinomials come with the following pattern. Let me just grab my pen. So the first term is usually squared. So perfect square like 9 or 16 or 4x squared. The last term is also a perfect square term, and the product of the first and the last times 2 is the middle term. So what is the significance of that? We can quickly convert trinomial into perfect square binomial without going through factoring. Now, if you still want to factor, you know you can do it because you have watched previous video already. And there are two similar cases. One comes with the sum and the second one with the difference. So if the middle term comes with negative 2ab, like you see it right here, then you convert it into a minus b outside squared. You can always expand the perfect square trinomial from binomial squared into that statement where you have a trinomial. So it works both ways, right? You can, from expanded, you can get factored form. From factored form, you can have it expanded. So we always factor when we recognize the pattern using the PST, perfect square trinomial formula. And then you already know that, check your work. So let's dive into a specific example. So in this example, you see x squared plus 6x plus 9. So you recall the PST formula and you try to match by recognizing patterns. So you see that the first one is x to the power of 2. The last one, it is 9, so this hidden perfect square number, so this is 3 squared. And the middle term has 2 times first, which is times x, times 3. So in totality, 2 times x times 3 is 6x, obviously. So that matches exactly the given question, x squared plus 6x plus 9. So we have this broken apart so that you recognize parts of the formula. A term is x, the b term is 3. So this can be converted into x plus 3 squared outside. So whether you use this right side of the screen to look at the pattern with colors, or perhaps you want to follow the left side of the screen where you see also pattern with colors. But that allows you to identify, by knowing the formula, first thing you observe that there is first term squared, the last term squared. And the product is consisting of the first, the last, times 2. So hence we have 6x. And we always check. We don't want to guess and say, hopefully this works. X plus 3 to the power of 2 can be expressed as x plus 3 times x plus 3. This is the time when I want to remind you, if you were to do the factoring, this would be your answer, x plus 3 times x plus 3, which can be converted to x plus 3 squared. So when you do the FOIL, you do the product, you collect all the like terms. When you complete everything, all of a sudden you see that you get the exact question that you had in the first place. So next example, a little bit more complicated because it has more variables. So we have 4y squared, we have 9x squared. So that's the first signal. You identify that this is 2y squared outside, and the last term is 3x squared outside. So the middle term should have factor 2, the first times the second. Therefore, we have negative 12xy. So if there is a negative sign in the statement, then you have to recognize that this is a minus b to the power of 2 perfect square trinomial. So using colors here, a squared is 2y squared. Negative 2 always there. So since a is 2y, then b must be 3x. The last term, b squared, is represented by 3x squared. So therefore, this trinomial, which is a perfect square trinomial, is converted into a binomial, difference of binomial squared, with the difference. So what is the benefit of knowing this? It helps you to factor questions easier. Later in mathematics, you see that you have a complex polynomials formula of different type of functions where you can break it apart by factoring. So factoring is necessary for you to do well with other math courses. So do not skip it. Learn those fundamentals so that when you see other questions with more complex questions, then you say, I know those things. I recognize patterns so I can break it apart and simplify. So checking your work is a must. So 2y minus 3x binomial squared is expressed as a product of the same base repeated twice, and then you do the expansion process, you get 4 terms, and then you combine like terms, of course, which is negative 6y and negative 6y. Bingo, you have it, and you're excited. You now know how to work with perfect square trinomials and what to do with that. So the next example I'm going to show you, it is a tricky question that often appears in your exam or on your test because they want you to be tricked. If you allow them to trick yourself, then you don't want to be in that spot because that's a difficult and very, very nerve-wracking sometimes. So I'm going to show you that this is nothing more than that by using this specific example. So 1/4, so now we have fraction a squared minus ab plus b squared. We don't seem to have any coefficients other than -1. Since you have a minus sign, that leads you to the statement that you may end up having a minus b in general terms squared, right? So you convert it into a binomial with a difference. So 1/4 is 1/2 squared, but since we have a negative sign, I want it to be this particular coefficient to be a negative number. So negative 1/2 squared is also 1/4. Hopefully that makes sense. And a squared is a times a, therefore the first term is negative half a. Then you have plus, because you wouldn't know whether it's a difference or minus sign. Start with plus, it's always safe. So 2 times negative a, because negative, the first term is negative 1/2a, times the last terms, the b term, which is just b in this particular case, plus the last term squared. So we have expressed the first one squared, the last one squared, and the product is 2 times first times last. So it happens to be that this is, in the end, 2 times negative half is -1. So everything works. So this is perfect square trinomial that could be expressed in that beautiful form, negative half a plus b squared. I'm going to show you that this is one version that is a correct version. You can also show this question as half 1/2a with positive sign minus b would give you exactly the same trinomial if you were to expand it. Or if you change the order of appearance, b minus 1/2a also leads to the same perfect square trinomial in expanded form. Do it. Expand it yourself to make sure that what you see on the screen does make sense. So hopefully the video was helpful. Now you understand what perfect square trinomial is all about, how to use it, and whether you have questions with positive sign, negative sign, you can do it. Do your questions, do practice questions, post comments and the questions down below, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.